Time to fly, time to fly. Never give up, we won't retreat. The ones who stand after.
Hello friends, and welcome again to another Street Fighter Duel video.
Okay friends, so we have a new character that have been dropped to the game. Now there's two other characters that I didn't cover. I'll be covering them next after this video, which is the new Fire, Makoto and Michelangelo, because I didn't talk about his kits. He's absolutely fantastic and he can run in different comps, and we'll be talking about this when I showcase some teams for the boss in the effigy clash. Now, first of all, Decapre, the new Decapre. I think she's available here. Yeah, the new Decapre. Archon Decapre, absolutely nice. Now, if you don't know anything about the lore, I'll give you a small lore about the Decapre and how she's done. So, Bison kidnaps Cammy, the original Cammy that we know about, and he mind controls her. And after he mind controls her, he makes a lot of copies of her. One of them is the normal Decapre that we know, a masked Cammy that is called or known as Decapre, and they are all considered sisters. And there's other versions of Cammy, other versions of Decapre, which is Archon Decapre, and all of them are the same replica of Cammy that have been mind controlled, and they are all copies of her. So that's the basic line. Now I love the art. The art is absolutely fantastic. Good job, well done with the art. Archon Decapre looks great. Her skills and kit, we'll be talking about them. It's not as hopeful as you hoped for the game, but they are used in some lineups for specifically PvP. She's a great PvP unit actually. So let's go and talk about her, and first of all we're gonna talk about her passive because it explains everything about her fire abilities and her passives. The Judgment Flame. So Judgment Inferno is her passive. Each stack of Judgment Flames also reduces the target's effect resist by 15%, which allows you to deal more debuffs. Effect resistance, it means anything, burn, bleed, armor break, whatever you want to debuff the enemy with, thunder maybe, the shock, you can do it easier now because every stack gives you 15%, which is absolutely nice, and it's capped at 5 stacks, which means 45% of effect resistance, which is, or effect resist downgrade for them, so you can apply these more. So upon entering the battle, inflict 2 Judgment Flames on the enemy fighter with the highest attack. So specifically going through the highest attack, it means the unit that deals the most damage, which is the most vulnerable for your enemy line or on your enemy line. It means in PvP when you're using that, you're targeting their best attacker, so you will minimize the damage that you're gonna take from them because you're gonna go and target them and try to burst them faster, which is really good. And on bosses, if we have one boss or 2 bosses, the boss with the highest attack will be infected with that, so this is good for bossing as well. So each stack of Judgment Flame also reduces the target's dodge by 10%, which is also awesome. It means whatever dodge they have on their lineup, if you're playing on PvP specifically, strictly, they're gonna have a lot of dodge if they're from the type of agility or any unit that buffs the other lineup with a dodge. So you don't need only just pressure to counter that, you can play her and counter them if you can't target them or you're missing your attacks. 10% with every stack. You start with 2 stacks, that 20% decrease. It means like somebody like Dalsim, which have, let's say, almost 90 or 100%, that will drop to 80%. Your chances will be more and more. So with every 10%, it means 50% you're gonna remove them if you go full combo and get the 5 stacks. When a friendly fighter dies, inflict 2 Judgment Flame on the enemy who killed them. So the enemy who killed the unit on your lineup will be inflicted with 2 stacks. And this, we did some tests, it doesn't go to 7, it's capped at 5. So even if you have 5 stacks and your lineup died, or one of your lineup died, they don't get extra 2 stacks and go to 7. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. We did the test, that's why I'm talking about this in this manner. So what does Judgment Flame do as basic if you have them? When Archon Decapre attacks an enemy who has Judgment Flame, she has a 35% chance to deal extra true flame damage equal to 80% of her attack. True flame damage. It's not only true damage, but it's considered flame. So all the buffs of the flame that buffs flame damage will be applied, and it will be true damage as well. So it will be, if you don't have any buff for flame damage, it will deal the damage. Plus, if you have any buff for flame, it will adds up for it. So it's a win-win situation for playing her with a buffer for flame, which is really good and makes her even better. If the target has at least 3 Judgment Flame, deal the extra damage 1 additional time. So 1 extra additional damage as true damage. If you have 5 Judgment Flame, deal 1 extra damage additional time. Stacks up at 5 times and lasts for the entire battle, so you can't remove them. Or I think they're dispellable. They don't say it's dispellable, but if you can't dispel them, they last for the entire battle. It means you don't need rewinding and repeating that. If they have 5 stacks, it means they're gonna take the instance at 3 stacks. They're gonna take the instance at 5 stacks. It has an interval time of 1 second between them, which is absolutely fantastic. Let's read her super. Her super is an AoE damage, which absolutely is awesome. Any AoE damage is absolutely admired in this game. So a charge and unleash a fireball to blast enemies in a large area, which means it does hit everybody on the lineup, dealing flame damage equal to 348% of attack, with a 15% chance to inflict Judgment Flame on the target hit. That's 15%. It's slow, but because you start with 2, and when you get her exclusive, you get even more. We'll be reading that later. Increases the damage, and the chance for inflicting goes to 20%, then increase the damage and it goes to 30%. 30% is decent for a unit to apply that. Now the damage from her AoE super is really good. It's not that bad. Plus if you get the 5 stacks, it will ramp up and be even more. Plus the true damage that you deal, and it's through flame, so you can buff it by flame buffers. Her C1, it's a single target phantom tribunal. Okay. So dashes behind the enemy with the lowest HP percentage and stab them, dealing flame damage equal to 390% attack with a 50% chance to inflict a Judgment Flame. 50% chance, which means her C1 is consistent a little bit more than her super with dealing that, but her super is AoE, so you have 30% chance on the 3 units on the battlefield, but this one have only 50%, so it's half-half, 50-50 to get it on one target, which deals the lowest percentage, not the backline. So this, somebody told me that we can play with backline as a C1, like we start with Viper super, then C1 from her, then Akuma C2, then Viper C3, and that's it, we kill the backline immediately. No, still Fashion Blanca snipes the backline with his C1. She snipes the lowest percent. So if the lowest percent was the tank, you're not gonna snipe the backline, you're gonna snipe the tank. So lowest percentage is not the same as the backline. So this skill direct damage ignores any shields and damage immunities effects on the target, which makes her another Bison killer, and it goes through immunities and goes through shields, which means Gouken shields and Able shields will not help you, or any type of shields that you use on your lineup. She goes directly to the HP and decreases the HP. Only her. It doesn't mean that all your lineup will be affected with that. It's only strictly to her. Increases that chance of inflicting judgment to 100%, so with her C1. Great, this is only her C1, so using her C1 will go through shields. Keep that in mind, it's not all her abilities, with her C1 mechanic only. So it's a great way to snipe Bison. Bison goes to almost 0 HP, so if you can snipe him with her C1, she will eliminate him immediately. If this skill direct damage skills and kills an enemy, unleashes this skill again, this is considered a trigger skill. Just like Decapre, she goes and executes somebody, she has an execute functionality with her C1. This is what makes her C1 is the most one that in some situations you want to play a lineup using her with her C1, because her C1 can end the life of any enemy on the enemy lineup. Plus she will refresh it and do it again to another low HP unit, and if she kills them, she do it again. They don't have, it has a cap to do it once again and that's it. No, she do it once, twice, 3 times. If she continue killing, she will continue killing. If she kills only one unit, she will do it to the other. If the other doesn't die, she will continue doing her battle normally, which is really awesome. Her best skill in her entire kit is her C1. She's not a bad unit, she's a utility unit. Any unit with utility I appreciate. So she goes through shields, immunities, kills somebody and refreshes her kill and kills another somebody else as well. And the damage is not that bad actually, because she, with the lowest HP, and stab them, deal flame damage equal to 390% of attack. 390% of attack may not seem great, but with people or with units that you have on the lineup, let's say somebody just Fire Adon dealing burst damage with his C3, burning everybody, they're getting low on HP, or somebody as Rich Honda dealing them with the link, so they will be affected with each other with the life link, or somebody like Dawson cooking them all and they're all on low HP. She kills somebody, she snipes the other, she snipes the other, she kills everybody else, which is really good actually for her. Now it's not the highest multiplier, she goes for low HP, she's a finisher, let's say. And this is a little bit bad because her multiplier, if this does 1000% flame damage, This will be awesome. She will be the top tier unit for PvP. You will run her, and you run her with the C1, absolutely will be insane. But because her multiplier is low, you need to get them to a low percentage of HP so you can go with her C1. I just want to say that because I don't want to have anybody having a misconception. Oh, her C1 is OP, let's go and use it and build this unit and tell me, oh, Pika, you told us it's great, but it's not. It's great, but situational. It's a technical unit. So keep that in mind. Technicality, I always appreciate that. So her C2. And plus you can pair her up with another Decapre, because when they go below 40% with the normal Decapre, she just do the execution. You can use those both together, but I recommend not using Decapre with her because she does not shine, and with the damage reductions she doesn't kill anybody below 40%. At C2, so perform a drill attack on enemies. With this is AoE, by the way. In a small area, dealing flame damage equal to 414% of attack. For every one judgment flame on the target, increases the skill damage by 20%. So if they have 5 of this 20% by 5, it's 100%. So 100%, you're gonna increase the 414% damage with her C2, which makes her C2 really good. But it needs time to ramp up if you don't have that. So if the team is playing a one-shot build and you start, even if you're faster than them and they start later, they will one-shot your enemies or your team if you're depending on her C2 only. But if you are faster than her, which she is fast because she has high speed, you can go and eliminate them using this skill. Increase the damage to 476% of attack. This skill has independent 25% chance to trigger Judgment Flame damage effect trigger interval one time. So the skill is independent and have 25% to trigger a Judgment Flame, which is the extra damage that you do, which is really good. It's absolutely nice. For story mode, maybe early game to mid game, she's absolutely nice, just like Mad Ryu, but in late game she falls off. Until you get her safe, everybody is safe, you can keep sustaining with Gouken, with healers, with stuff like that, and making the enemy go on low HP, then you can execute them with the C1 of hers. So keep that in mind. So her fighting spirit, and she's an assassin, which makes sense, and she's an agility unit. I think she's agility. This is agility? No, this is the combat style. She's an assassin. She's a tech type. So she have high crit rate, so she can crit with her damages. Absolutely nice. So Spectral Dagger, I love the word spectral always. So she has crit rate and pressure. Pressure, it means she counter dodge. So you know that counter dodge massively. She has high HP and high attack. The attack goes to 33%. So when an enemy with Judgment Flame dies, all friendly fighters recover HP equal to 20% of her attack. When an enemy dies. So this is a unit where you need to execute so you can get the benefit of her basic initial EX move. Okay, that's it. She's kind of support role with healing your lineup with this. I hope that was like giving her more true damage, bonus damage, double tapping, or doing her super if she executes somebody. That would be awesome actually. Her assist takes effect when she assists the fighter. The assisted fighter attacks have a 15% chance of inflicting Judgment Flame. When Judgment Flame reaches 5 stack on an enemy, deal true damage, true flame damage equal to 80% of Archon Decapre's attack to an enemy, and removes all the Judgment Flame stacks. So, somebody told me, is she good on Fire Aidon? A little bit if you were lucky. It requires a lot of RNG for the 15% to get you stacks. Okay, and you will deal even more damage with flame, and then by the end it will get removed and you need so much RNG to accumulate that. On the long run, long bosses, if you're so lucky, it works. If you're not, it doesn't contribute anything. I would recommend still playing somebody like Fashion Blanca as an assist for him, or Dalsim because of the Fire Carpet, which is a good amount of damage that he does underneath the enemies. Plus Dalsim has a lot of attack that can contribute with the attack of Fire Aidon. Or you can use Jury, in some situations for the life steal, or everybody's favorite Rose. Rose will give you the crit rate that you need. So plus 10. When an enemy with Judgment Flames dies, refill the super combo gauge with 100, which is really good actually. It makes you go and refresh your attacks. Plus 20 increases the HP recovery to 180 of her attacks, and super combo gauge by 150, which is added up to her plus 10 and her initial unlocking for the skill. At plus 30, when an enemy with Judgment Flame dies, increase the attack of all friendly fighters by 15%, stacking up to 60%, lasts until the end of the battle. This is huge for PvP. For PvP, you want these units. If you're building her up, maxing her up in PvP, she'd be awesome. As you see, whenever she kills an enemy, she gets bonus and bonus, or gives bonus and bonus. So her trend is killing units, so she's a PvP used unit more than in bossing. In bossing, she does jack shit, okay? She doesn't do anything in bosses. She's good if you build her. If you're a whale and built her and said, oh look, she's dealing 1 billion damage, replace her with any carry, they'll do better. That's the bottom line of the conclusion. So let's go and read her cards. Upon killing an enemy again, this is why she's good for PvP and story mode, and hopefully if you max her out and use her in story mode and you can sustain with her, keep her alive, keep your lineup alive, you will benefit from that. Inflict 2 Judgment Flame on the random enemy, which is good actually, but if they already have 5 stacks, this will not help. When a friendly fighter attacks an enemy who has Judgment Flame, they will also trigger the initial damage effect, but not the additional true damage or the additional damage effects that depend on the number of judgment stacks. So whenever they attack a unit that has Judgment Flame, it will not give you the benefit of having 3 stacks or having 5 stacks. It will just add the damage that the Judgment Flame adds whenever the unit is inflicted upon it with that, and this will ramp up the damages of all of your units, your lineup, even the tanks if you're using their C1 or C2, and all the healers, which is really, really great. That's an absolute great unit. I love her kit. I love the art style, everything. Is she good? She's decent, not that great. Where is she used mostly and shines mostly in PvP, especially if you build her up to max. And yeah, that was it for the video.
If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. If you didn't, we thank you for watching. And as always, stay frosty. Peace.
Time to fight, time to fight.